Gold medal. And then I started club in 7th grade, and now I'm in Tempe again for school. I went to high school, obviously, as many of you guys know. I went to Higley. We competed against you guys probably 2 to 3 times out of the school year during swim season. I swam all 4 years at Higley, and then I competed for Mesa Aquatics Club my sophomore through senior year. I swam at a really crappy club before that. It was just because my high school coach coached that club as well. But I was team captain at Higley my junior and senior year. I played volleyball from sophomore year through senior year. There's a couple pictures. We actually won state championship my junior year at Higley for 5A. And then I also met an amazing group of friends that I'm going to be friends with for the entire of my life. Like, I love these boys that I met, girls too, but boys are the ones I'm really sticking close to. So, swimming. I broke my first school record my sophomore year in the 500 free. So did Ian. Yeah, Ian.
Oh, yeah.
Junior year, I broke 3 more in the 2 medley relay, the 500 and the 100 breast. And then senior year, I broke 5 more. I broke all 3 relays, the 200 free and then the 100 breast. Didn't swim the 500 because high school's all sprint. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to change my training so I can be more of a team player. And I was able to do that, and we were able to get all 3 relay records. So I know a lot of you guys, I'm trying to categorize some of you, like Diego, he's right now 500, he's focused on that. And it's like, until your guys' mind changes, like which mine did, I was like, I want to be more of a team player. I feel like I have more future sprinting, then we can make changes like that. So the end of my season, I was awarded 2 night awards. So I was awarded one my junior year and my senior year. This is for having athleticism, character, scholarship, and I think that's it. So yeah, I managed to have a 4.4 GPA my entire high school. So senior state, this is where we medaled 4th. Do you guys know who this is? Yeah. So that's how I actually got this job, was because she was the girls' head coach at Higley. I don't know if she was my junior year, but for sure my senior year. I think she was involved my junior year. Then a week later, after we got 4th place in the 200 medley or 200 free relay, we were informed that Campo, who is a stacked team, they had 2 sophomores that are now Olympic trialists and are swimming at ASU right now as full scholarships as freshmen. So they actually got DQ'd. So suck Campo, we got 3rd, not you. Then I graduated. So there's me and a couple of my buddies. This is Zach, that's Elias, and that's Keaton. Keaton was one of my buds that I swam with all 4 years. I met him heading into freshman year, and he's close homie. He now lives up in Utah though, and he's going to school up there. And then here's a few of my senior pictures.
That's a nice picture. You look fancy.
You look fancy.
Past you going into business.
This is going somewhere. This is not a brag session about Carson.
So then my senior trip, I was able to go to Italy. Yeah, this guy right here in the middle, his name's Filippo. He was an exchange student at Higley my senior year, and he was actually a junior. He was only like 17. I think he turned 17 like while he was here. But we actually went and stayed with him for 2 weeks in Italy at his home. He had just recently moved out of his home in foreign countries. It's really hard to sell a home as quickly as you can sell a home here because it's just not as easy as a process. So we were staying in his old home while he was still living in his new home. And so we stayed in his own home, old home, which had no AC, and it was 85 degrees with 90% humidity. So I was waking up, and I would get up from my bed, and I'd have to be spread eagle on the bed because if I was tucked up in a ball, I'd be drenched in sweat. I get up from my bed, and you can see my outline in sweat on our beds. And then we had a vacation home in Sardinia, which is like an island off of Italy, and we were able to go there. And there's another tiny island off the coast, and they have like this climbing thing that we're able to do. And down there's that's like 150 feet below us, and we were doing this climbing thing all the way up this path. We were able to get up all the way to the top. So that's the Colosseum, and then this is Vatican City. Vatican City. Does anyone know the fun fact about Vatican City? What is it?
It's an independent country.
And it's the what?
Papal States.
Something else. Yep, the smallest country in the world. It's like less than a square mile. So then I went to ASU after that trip. This is Chase Lucas. He's a really good defensive back for ASU. And I mean, I could throw a lot more ASU pictures up here, but you know. And then that was also, we stormed the field after we had beat Oregon, who was the 5th seed, and completely crushed their dreams at becoming a playoff member. And then I started swimming again my 2nd semester in college for Swim Devil Masters. the owner of this club, he is I think it's a national champion for Australia in the 100 breaststroke. So it was really awesome going to go get coached by him because I got to learn a whole bunch about breaststroke. And he owns this club, which is in the afternoons they do like CrossFit and swimming. It's called Cross Swim. So you like are doing like med ball slams and like lifting weights and doing like kettlebell carries across the pool, and you go and sprint 100. It's intense.
That sounds really fun though.
Yeah, it's like really fun. And I never was doing this afternoon.
Do it.
I think we should hit him up. We should say, hey, ACP wants to come do a class with you. And we go get more. So that's what I started doing. And then this happened. We're not even going to talk about it. So ending of COVID, starting my sophomore year, I went on a boating trip. This, as some of you guys may know, is my girlfriend, Kaylee. This was 20 days after I had met her, and we went on a boating trip, and
Notice there's room for Jesus in between them.
Coach,
they're in the car.
as you guys can see, she's calling me a bozo because I can't remember her name. So we were on a tube, and we were going really fast, and we flew up, caught some air, and her and my buddy Connor fell off, and I was the last one on, and I got tumbled, and I got a concussion. And I came up from the water, and I was like, my eyes were just staring, and the mom that was with us asked me, am I all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. So I went on again.
Good job, Carson.
And I'm not kidding, about 15 seconds, we're going like 15 miles an hour. I just let go because I'm like, no, I'm not doing this again. So anyways, then after that, I was like looking at her, and she goes, are you all right? And I go, no. But anyways, turns out I couldn't remember how I got there. I couldn't remember who I was with. I couldn't remember who she was. And I met her 20 days before this. So
we need to take you on a boating trip sometime.
Oh my god.
So then I went to the hospital because my mom's a nurse, and she's a huge, huge worrier. Not warrior, worrier. And so went to the hospital. She took me to the best brain hospital there is in Arizona. And so this is what happened here. Here, 1 second. Let me see.
Yeah, let's go.
Carson, was it Barrows Neurological Institute?
Yeah.
I'm not calling anyone, I'm just taking a video, so if I can't remember it. Chilling in the hospital. Just got a CAT scan. Oh, the big old head top.
So what ended up happening was I had amnesia for 7 hours. I couldn't remember a single thing that happened from 2 hours before we left for the boat trip till about 3 o'clock in the morning. So we did a CT scan on my brain, and we were testing to see if there's a brain bleed or anything like that. And on the CT scan, there was a little blur in my head. So we went and got an MRI after that. And here's why we're here today. On Friday, August 21st, I found out I had a brain tumor. I was out on the lake with a friend's family when I flew off the tube and I struck my head on the water. After I got back on the boat, I couldn't remember how I got there or where I was. We went to St. Joe's Hospital to run some tests and to get a diagnosis, and after confirming my concussion, they ended up finding a suspicious spot in my head. After my x-ray and CAT scan where they found the spot, they got me scheduled for an MRI. After a long 7+ hours in the hospital, the doctor ended up coming to tell me that they had found a tumor in my left ventricle. Over the next 15 minutes, I had a terrible panic attack and felt completely hopeless. My mom ended up reaching over to me and began to pray. And throughout the prayer, I looked up and I noticed my heart rate dropping. God was with me. He was right there by my side in that hospital room. Rather than taking this as the worst news I've ever received, I am nothing but grateful for the timing of this accident. We were able to catch this before any signs or symptoms, and I can only thank God for this, as well as my poor grip strength. In Isaiah 41:10 it states, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." In this verse we're able to understand that we are to give all our worries to God,
And that's all I can ask from you guys. I ask that none of you guys worry about me, but instead you guys just pray. I'm thankful for everyone in my life and the endless support from everyone who has reached out. I love you all, and if you guys have any questions, I'll be posting more stuff on my story. Thank you.
So I know it's a big thing to hear, but I am getting a little emotional. But. So obviously I want you guys to take everything I said with a grain of salt. I know some of you guys may not be religious in this room, but obviously I am very religious, and God helped me through this very tough time in my life.
On Friday, August 21st, I found out I had a brain tumor.
So here is the results from the MRI. This is my tumor. It was 2 centimeters long by 1.5 centimeters wide, and then 1 centimeter tall. So honestly, guys, I don't know why I'm crying, because this is the most happiest thing that's ever happened to me, that we were able to find this, and that the results of this. And I know you guys don't really know where this is going, but so I know dealing with the news, like I said, God, and then also after we found out that it was in my brain, one of my best friends that I played volleyball with, his dad is the best brain surgeon in America, and we immediately reached out to him, and we got something scheduled within 2 weeks. The next opening was actually 4 months down the road, so I had to do my whole semester knowing that I had a brain tumor in my head. And I said, you know what, yeah, why not, I don't care. My mom said, no, you're getting this out. And so my mom contacted him and said, hey, let us know the soonest one. And I'm like, all right, whatever, let's just do it. I'm like, I don't need time to mentally prepare for this, I'm just gonna go for it. And so it turns out there was a cancellation within 2 weeks. So I was either waiting 4 months or 2 weeks. So I got my concussion. I am sitting there not knowing who my girlfriend was. And I was supposed to say 2 weeks later I was supposed to go and get this tumor taken out of my head. And then the other thing dealing with it was I have an amazing group of friends that was able to help me through it and be by my side when I needed them. So my recovery was 5 days in a hospital, and they got the surgery done, and I wasn't able to eat anything for 2 days. I wasn't able to eat anything either 12 hours before my surgery. So heading into the night before, I was starving. I mean, I'm always active, and I'm always doing stuff. And trying to tell a growing boy that he can't eat food is like taking milk away from a baby. I just want to cry, and I pretty much was at that point where I just wanted to cry. So first 2 days, I couldn't eat anything, and I'm sorry, but this stupid nurse brings me Mexican food 3 hours after my surgery, and I told her no. And she wheels this Mexican food into my room, and I look at her and I go, why'd you bring me this? And she opens it up, and I immediately puke in her face. And I'm like, how are you going to expect me when I have nothing to sound appetizing, I haven't been able to eat anything, that you're going to hand me an enchilada and beans and tell me to eat this? But anyways, they said for most people, this would have been a 4-day recovery, but they said since I was young, I should be out of there by the night of my, the third night, because I got my surgery done in the morning, so they said by the nighttime your surgery, or by the afternoon your surgery will be done. By the night on your third day, you will be out of there. So 3.5 days is what I was supposed to be in there for, but my battle kept me in there for 5. So the rule is that I wasn't able to go until I could go. And since I had so many opioids in me and I had so many drugs in me, my stomach was just so clogged up from everything. And I had ate, I think it was 5 meals, and I hadn't gone to the bathroom. So what ended up happening was they gave me laxative after laxative after laxative after stool softener, still nothing. And then they say, all right, it's been 5 days, you should have been out of here a day and a half ago, let's try this. They come in with a big box like this with the needle sticking out of it. It's a shot. It's a shot filled with opioids that they came in and just stuck right in my stomach. They grabbed me right here, grabbed all the little fat I had because I was down 20 pounds from when I had went in there. They grabbed me, stabbed me in the stomach, and then put the shot in me. I'm not kidding, 5 seconds I was in the bathroom. And I'll stop going into details, but I was very grateful for that shot. Like, you should have gave that to me the third day, because I would have been out of here early. So anyways, I spent the next 30 days living on the couch at home and mostly living there in my bedroom, just going back and forth. I stayed in college still, you guys. When I found about my surgery, I got a week ahead of my classes because we're all online, and I got 4 days of school. I think it was 4 days of school, and then basically on my last day, since I was supposed to be out of there in 4 days, I was like, all right, yep, once I'm out of the hospital, I'll be able to do work again. So I was like, all right. So I called my brother, Cole, I'm still in here. Can you go do my assignment? He got better grade than I did. He's not even in the class. But anyways, that semester I actually finished with a 3.7 GPA with a brain tumor and recovery. So you guys, I trust that every single one of you guys, no matter what's going on in your life, no matter what stress you're having, you guys will survive. Okay? You guys don't stress about school. Okay? Life goes on. I got a 3.7 with having a brain tumor and the whole recovery process of this. You guys really don't need to stress about school. You guys are all smart. You're in this school for a reason. Trust yourselves, and you guys will be good. So, if you have an uneasy stomach about some things, you may not want to watch, but it's not that bad. So, here is the first video. This was 2 days after my surgery. Actually, sorry, this was the 4th day. This was my first time walking.
Is that enough?
So I was in the ICU on the 3rd level, and right now this is, everyone that's in there is just like basically half dead. So I had Lester in the room next to me who didn't know where he was because he had no family left and he had amnesia. So he was just screaming, "Ah, get me out of here!" So that's Lester. And then everyone else on the floor is COVID basically. Or no, there was COVID the day I got there, but they had all the COVID people left. But otherwise, everyone else in that room is on a ventilator. So when they see me walk through this door, they're like, "Oh my goodness," and they almost hit like the red alert, red alert. One of our patients is trying to get out of here. But I'm just like, "No, I'm good. Like, I just had brain surgery, but I'm walking around." But so that's why I was saying, like at the end, I don't know if you guys heard, I was like, I saw your eyes because one of the guys that sees me walk out of the room, he was like about to like, he didn't know what to do. He's like, why is one of our patients walking out of this room? But yeah, if my mom always makes fun of this video because the only reason I was able to do this was because I was all drugged up and I couldn't feel anything. And so my mom, in the beginning of this video, I'm like, getting ready to walk, and she goes, "Yeah, you can definitely see that you're all messed up in this video." I'm like, "Yeah, but that's the only reason I was able to do this." So then also, if you guys can see, let's go back to that. So do you guys see this coming out of my head?
Yeah.
So obviously my head was cut open. What they did was they took skin, or not skin, they took and cut from here to here, and they pulled the skin all the way down and all the way back, and they cut a circle in my skull. And then what they did is they sawed that completely out, took it away, did the surgery, and then replaced it back, and then stitched my head back in with 5 metal dog bones. So imagine what a dog bone looks like this, right? So one piece is holding on to, so this is the crack, one piece is holding on to my skull, one piece is holding on to the circle that was gone. So they have that in there, and then my scar, as you can kind of see, is coming across the top there. And they also have a hole right on, I think it's this side. They have a hole in there that this tube is going into my head with, and it's draining all the fluid that is gaining in my brain right now. So it's taking all the spinal fluid out because obviously they were doing surgery, they hit cuts, they had to do cuts and stuff. So my brain in there is bleeding, so they're using that to drain. And then, if you guys see this bag down here, that's where it's all coming into. And it's all filled with spinal fluid. So once that gets to a yellow color, I was good to go, and they knew that I was ready. But there's also this thing here that fills up with blood, and that like tells you like the true, like where it's at. Like, is it bleeding or is it just still spinal fluid? So then here, once the bag got clear enough, they ended up taking it out.
Is that how long it was in my head?
That whole thing was in my head. And that's all that they drained while I was there.
Are we still on that 25?
We are still on that. So my post-op checkup, I had one MRI in the hospital immediately after my surgery was done, or about a day after, and they just wheeled me out there. And they found that the doctor was able to get every bit of my tumor. So it was actually, like I said, my doctor was the best brain surgeon in the United States. He barely does any work besides surgeries. So he basically has all the dirty work, all the written stuff, all of the appointments done by other doctors that want to learn from him, and all he has to do is the surgeries. So any of you guys looking out there to become a surgeon, when you become the best one, your job is the easiest. Yeah, you have bigger surgeries, but your job gets way easier. So he actually had never done a tumor that I had. My tumor, there's like one case every year in the entire United States. So it's just based on the location. So as some of you guys know, the brain has two ventricles, the left and the right, then it comes down and the spinal cord comes out the back. In between the two ventricles is where the spinal fluid is made, and there's a little bubble in here. Mine was under my left ventricle, sorry, for you guys this side, under my left ventricle, under here. And so doctor had to go between my ventricles and get all of it out from under. So he's going in blind trying to make sure he got it all. And he got it all. So that's a huge part of it. And then 3 months later I had another MRI. This time was on my whole spine. This was the worst thing I have ever done. Like honestly, I would consider this almost worse than the whole recovery process. It was an hour and a half. The tube gets up to 115 degrees when it's running that long. So I'm sitting there. I woke up not feeling well. And so I'm already feeling like dizzy and not feeling well. And then I'm in a tube for an hour and a half in 115 degree tube. No, and I can't move. And I have runny nose and I'm not feeling good. So it's like, all I want to do is blow my nose right now. You have to sit here for 45 more minutes on my back sweating like crazy. And there's fans in there too that they turn on. It was still that hot. So that was definitely the worst thing ever. But anyways, the good side of that was none of the tumor, none of the cells came down my spinal cord, which would be a much more difficult surgery, meaning more risk. 6 months post-op, I had another brain MRI, no signs of growth, no signs of anything, still completely empty. And then 12 months coming soon. Because actually, 363 days ago, so almost a full year, September 3rd I got my surgery. So it's September 1st, so in 3 days it's about a year later. And now I get to coach the most amazing swim team and spread every lesson I've learned through all this with you guys. And then I also cannot wait to continue with this amazing season. And I love you guys a ton.